Hello, welcome back. My name is Kevin. If you are new in this tutorial, please check the previous two videos we've done of introduction for you to get along with everything you're learning. I'll continue from where we left last time. We learned about file, the command file on the toolbar, on the top toolbar. We learned about how to create a new document, how to use open, how to use open as, how to open file as smart objects, open recent, how the commands of close, close all, close and go to bridge, close of others, and also saving files, save and save as. So today we'll learn the tools, not commands. We learn tools on our left side. These tools on the left side. So tool number one is usually called the move tool. Even if you point, since your Photoshop is new, you have installed your Photoshop. If you point in all of these tools, it will always indicate for you what the name of that tool or the usage. But to understand better, let us learn it today. So tool number one is called the move tool, and this is a basic tool which you'll be using most of the time. If you want to move an item from one point to another, you always make sure you go back to move tool. Move tool will always be your default tool whenever you are not working on Photoshop. Make sure you are on a move tool. So let me put some few objects on our artwork here. I can create a rectangle. So yeah, they have a rectangle, kind of a square. Okay, here they have it. Now use on this tool, the move tool, you can drag and move your object anywhere on your artwork, anywhere on your we can position where using move tool. So move tool is not that complicated. It's common. Is even in other different software, even like CorelDRAW, Illustrator, move tools there. After learning the move tool, the next tool will go. I'll not follow them in that order the way they are arranged, because to understand other tools, you need to work on particular project or an image for you to understand how it works. So I'll move according to how flexible they are. So we have looked how the move tool works. So the next tool you can look around it is tool, rectangular tool or rectangle tool. If you point it, it has an arrow on the lower side. There's an arrow there. If you press on that arrow, you'll see other tools inside that rectangular tool. So the first one is rectangle, the one I've drawn like this one. Then the next one is the rectangle, but it has rounded corners. Select it and draw. You'll find out that the corners, if you zoom in, corners are not sharp like this one. The rectangle with rounded corners. So the rounded corners you can increase the size of that corner, the rounded corner part on this side. Any object you select, for example, if I select this rectangle, the properties of that rectangular will be on the right side. If I select this rectangular, the one with the round corners, the properties are here. This property are here. The rounded corners are by default, they usually come with 10 pixels. So they are rounded by 10 pixels. If you want to increase the rounded size, you can just hold any number, any corner. You have this corner, this and this one. So and all of them you can see they are 10, 10. So if you hold one like this one, and you drag by moving on the right side, you see the number of pixels increases. As the number increases, the size of rounded corner, the round corner part increases also. If you increase that number, the round corner part also reduces. Now that is the rectangular with the rounded corners. The next tool under rectangular tool, we have an ellipse tool. Ellipse tool. This is an ellipse tool. Ellipse tool usually looks like a circle, but is in an oval form. The next tool under ellipse, we have polygon tool. Polygon tool. I think the name polygon tool is not new for you. If you learn mathematics, you came across that name, polygon. This one has 5 corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the numbers of corners also can be increased, or can reduce the numbers of corners also. That one we'll understand it later, but at least at this moment, you know where to find it if you want a polygon tool. It is under rectangular. Also under rectangular tool, you have a line tool, just a line. Select it and draw like this. It is a line. You can draw it like this, in direction you want, because it's just a line. The last tool under rectangular tool, we have custom shape tool. Custom shape tool, it means it's a shape that can pick any object. is not limited to that designer. And to change its shape, after selecting it, you can change from here, from up here. So at this time, mine has come with a tree shape now. But if I want to change that tree shape, I select that tool, and up here I have that under this arrow we have leaf tree, wild animals, boats, flowers. You can choose what you want. For example, let's choose wild animals like this one to draw here. Just hold it when you drag it through that animal. So that's the work of that tool. It's called a custom tool because it can take any shape. Now the next tool I would like to learn before we go further is how to zoom. If you want to zoom in Photoshop on your keyboard, if you want to zoom, I think I have zoomed some few times and you're wondering how am I doing the zooming part. So to zoom on your keyboard, I believe you have a mouse. Or let me assume you have a mouse, a movable, either wireless mouse or the one with a cable mouse. So on the keyboard you'll hold Alt, then to zoom use the scroll bar on your mouse to scroll it to zoom in and out. Now if you don't have a mouse but you want to zoom using only keyboard, you hold Control and press plus to zoom in. To zoom out is Control minus and Control plus. That's to zoom without a mouse, but it's important to have a mouse because in Photoshop, for you to be flexible enough, you need a mouse, especially a wireless mouse or an external mouse. Not if you're using a laptop, I believe there's a mouse on the keypad, but that will not be flexible enough for you to use the fingers. You need an external mouse for it to be flexible enough. Remember that to zoom, Alt, and to scroll that wheel mouse. That is of how to zoom. Now the next thing before we go to any other tool again, I want you to look at something that has been happening as we have been learning these objects. I want us to check on our right side. On our right side here, bottom side corner, the right side, you will find out that all these shapes that are placed on our working space, they have layers here. All these are called layers. So the first shape was a rectangle, this one. So it is rectangle 1. Then I draw the next rectangle, and it came with its name, rounded rectangle. Then I went to the next one, which was an ellipse, and it's here already with its name. Then we went to polygon, this one. Then we went to shape 1, which is that line. Shape 2, shape 3, shape 4. These were lines. And I created shape 4, then shape 5, the tree shape, then a buffalo, a rhino shape. Now all these shapes have been arranged in layers. If you check here, all these have been arranged in layers. If you want to hide an object, for example, I want to hide the bigger rectangle. If I want to hide it, not to delete it, just to hide. If you check on these layers, all these are called layers. If you check all these layers, they have something like an eye. These eyes. So if you press an eye, like on this rectangle layer, if I press its eye here, the eye goes, it disappears. So the same way to rectangle on our workspace goes, it becomes like invisible. Although the layer is still here, but it's not visible now. But if I press on that icon where the eye was, the rectangle comes back. So that's how you hide an object in Photoshop. You press an eye on its layer like this, and the object get lost. Now to delete layers, like here I drew a lot of lines. This line. If I want to delete a line, like this one, this one, the selected one here. If I want to delete that line, I can just press on the keyboard delete, and it's gone. But if I want to delete without using delete button on the keyboard, I can drag this layer, hold that layer. You hold with your left mouse button and drag on this icon here, very at the corner at the bottom of that Photoshop. There's a button of delete, this icon. Even if you point it will tell you delete a layer. If If you point it, it will show the name delete layer. So if you drag a shape and you drop on it, that layer gets deleted. So that's how you delete if you delete how to delete a shape, either by pressing delete on keyboard or selecting it and press that delete layer. You see, delete the layer Rhino 1. That's the warning that Photoshop will indicate for you. Yes, I want to delete it. You can press just yes. The next thing, let me delete the let me bring all this here now. Let me unhide the one I hide. Now let me delete this one. Just delete on the keyboard. Okay, delete this one too, and delete this one too. Now since we have seen all shapes, as we were creating shapes, each came with its own layer. But how can you create your own layer now without creating a shape? You can create a layer by pressing a create layer icon here. Next, after the delete layer icon, this delete layer icon, the next one is an icon for creating a layer. So if you point it, it will tell you create a new layer. Create a new layer. So you press on it. This is a new layer. So the layer is empty. It has no color. It has nothing. Even if I had all other objects, even the background, you see, this layer has nothing. Just empty. That's how you create a new layer, by pressing this plus icon, this icon of create a new layer. Now I want you to see something here. Here we have like 4 layers, the background layer and the other 3 layers. Now on our background layer, it's locked. It has a lock here. For you to unlock that layer, to be flexible like this one, you can move. When the background is locked, or when a layer is locked, you cannot move it. You cannot move that layer. Even you cannot delete that layer. No, you cannot move. You can delete it, but you cannot move it. Or you cannot edit something that is on that layer. For example, this green. This green is on that background layer, which is locked. I can't do anything with this green. Now, the way I draw it, that it will like that. Because that layer is locked, I can't do anything on it. So for us to edit that layer, we have to remove that lock by pressing this lock icon. If I press on it, the lock disappears. Now if I hold this green, it can move now. It's flexible now, it moves because there's no lock now. It's flexible now, it can move anywhere. Now under creating the new layers, you can create a new layer. You can create a layer on top of other layers. Like layer 1 you have created on top of layer 0. Also you can create a layer in between other layers. If you want to create a layer between polygon 1 and the layer below it, you'll have to create a layer below the polygon 1. So to select this layer, so that when I press the button of creating a new layer, this one, the layer will be above it, which will be in between polygon 1 and that layer. The same if you want to create a layer in between the Rhino, this layer named Rhino 2 and polygon 1, I'll have to select now polygon and create a layer, so that the new layer will come on top of polygon 1 and it will be in between Rhino layer and the polygon layer. That's how you create layers in Photoshop. Also layers can be named for you to avoid confusion. For example, this polygon, instead of being named here polygon 1, if you want to name it, you double click on that name, polygon, and it allows you to edit the name. So you can name this blue polygon. Blue polygon. Blue polygon, and press enter. The same way to that tree, the tree layer. It has a name it. Name it to blue tree. Blue tree. That's how you rename a layer. Create new layers. You'll notice that everything in Photoshop, everything you do will always be in layers. Even if you drop an image in Photoshop, it will always be in a layer. That brings us to the end of our video today. I hope you have learned something. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like and drop any comment below. Make sure you subscribe and press the notification button for you to be alerted when I upload the new video. Thank you. See you next time.